Hi, boys and girls.
This is a face only a mom could love. Say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. YouTube's over here. Say bye to YouTube. What a pretty little face. We're going to be testing the 2016 Toyota RAV, known as the RAV. In this case, the economical hybrid version. In addition to the compact RAV hybrid, 5 months ago we also tested this Toyota full-size Highlander hybrid. We'll have a link for that video coming up at the end of this test. The RAV got a facelift recently, and I think it's a very good looking vehicle from any angle. I'll also show you the side view. And of course the rear. It's getting dark enough. Let's see how these RAV headlights work in the real world. Here we have a wall 100 feet away on low beam, or the inadequate light. High beam, bright light, but mostly down the center, or the inadequate. Here we have a building 300 feet away on high beams. Lights up quite well. Low beam just barely reaches out. Overall, I'd give, let's say 4.5 out of 5 stars. Certainly no complaints. The cabin design has a nice modern shape to it. There's more than adequate room in the back for 2 medium-sized adults. The third person, forget it. The storage area in the back isn't the biggest I've ever seen, but if you put the seats down, you get around 71 cubic feet of space. Most hybrid vehicles don't carry a spare tire. That space is usually taken up by a large battery. Here we not only get a spare, we get a full-size one. Unusual, but very good. You'll appreciate it when you get a flat off-road. The climate control system is very easy to use. Large buttons and knobs the way it should be. The audio and navigation system is also simple to use. We get a very large glove box, unusual on a vehicle this size. A very large glove box. A medium-sized console. Someone left some money in here. Mine now. The non-hybrid RAV gets a 6-speed automatic transmission. If you order the hybrid, you get the CVT automatic, which isn't very popular, but supposedly it helps fuel economy. It does have a sport mode button for more aggressive driving, which helps out a lot if you're in a hurry. I did have one complaint with the gauge cluster. Now it looks good when you can see it. Right now I'm parked in the shade. Unfortunately, there's a plastic cover in front of it that reflects light once you get out in the sun. Like so. I think I'm picking up all the distortions on camera. And as you can see, we can't even read the instruments. This is one design flaw Toyota should have fixed from the beginning. And I'll put my arm over, see? Now we can see it. Now with the sun you can't. We're going to knock off a star for this. Toyota needs to change this as soon as they can. The standard RAV engine puts out 176 horsepower. Gets 23 to 30 mpg in two-wheel drive or 22 to 29 mpg in four-wheel drive. On the hybrid, the combined gasoline engine and battery power give you a peak 194 horsepower. Claimed fuel economy is 34 in the city and 31 on the highway. We'll be finding out about that later. One thing you need to know is body weight. The standard RAV weighs around 3,500 pounds. With all the electronics and battery power on this monster weighs 4,000 pounds. That's 2 tons, for those of you who want to convert the math. This isn't a lightweight. That's the bad news. The good news is, with all the torque coming from the battery, it is actually a faster 0 to 60 time than the standard RAV at 8.1 seconds versus the standard vehicle at 9.1 seconds. So the excess weight seems like a problem. It's really not. This is a nice freeway car. The wind noise is low and the ride is comfortable. I'm getting around 30 to 31 mpg. We just finished a highway trip of 247 miles. Got 30.5 mpg. I think that's the best highway mileage we're going to see. By the way, when I'm doing videos on the highway and I say there's no wind noise, but you're hearing wind noise on the tape, that's because I'm running the air conditioning full blast because it's 112 degrees outside. It's kind of hot. No emails, please. Driving the hybrid Rav around town is pretty pleasant. The suspension is smooth, it's relatively quiet. The steering, I think it's electric, I'm not sure. There isn't much feel, but it is responsive enough. When you're driving over speed bumps, you hear it, but you don't necessarily feel it. Here comes one now. Just a mild noise, slight bump. Here's another speed bump. Let's do it a little faster. Heard it, but didn't feel it. Obviously, this isn't a drag strip car, but the torque from this battery makes acceleration on the city streets more than adequate. It's quick enough, trust me. And the brakes are excellent. Very firm, very responsive. Okay, let's get to the fuel economy numbers. If you're buying a hybrid vehicle like this, your main focus is probably on fuel economy, correct? I told you earlier the EPA rating was 34 in the city and 31 on the highway. I put about 600 miles on this vehicle in all different driving conditions. I average around 31 on the highway at 70 mile per hour speeds and 31 in the city, in normal city driving. If you live somewhere like, let's say, Hawaii, where they drive about as slow as a mule train, I suppose you'd easily get 34 mpg in the city, but we just didn't get it here. You might have noticed that the standard RAV at 23 in the city, and this at 31 to 34, depending on my figures or the EPA figures, there's a big gap there. On the other hand, the EPA rating for the standard RAV at 29 mpg and 31 for the hybrid on the freeway driving, there's not that much difference. Here's why. In city driving, when you're accelerating like this, the battery's doing most of the work, the engine isn't. That's why you have such a high mpg rating. But on the freeway and the expressways, when you're driving a set speed, the engine's doing most of the work, the hybrid battery system isn't doing much of anything at all. Therefore, the difference between a hybrid and standard non-hybrid on the highway, there just isn't that much difference. Here's the bottom line, folks. Hybrid systems work better in city driving, hardly at all on highway driving. With that being said, if you're doing most of your driving in the city, then definitely a hybrid RAV would be a better buy than a standard RAV if you're looking for fuel economy. If most of your commuting is done on the freeway, certainly more than half, I suggest going to the standard RAV, which starts around 23,000 versus this around 29,000. Either RAV is a good choice. The consumer magazines and websites have already proven that the RAV is one of the most reliable vehicles on the road, will probably last forever, and that's a good reason for buying either one, regardless whether it's a hybrid or not. If you think you might need a Toyota hybrid slightly larger than the RAV, we also drove the Toyota Highlander full-size hybrid, and here's the link for that video right here.